We are live. What's going on?
What up?
We got 4 people in the chat right now. What's up, Eric? What's up, Hahira, Trill, Tinny?
No, Tin Man's in the house.
Yep. We got
Old
it.
Daddy Trill's in the house.
It's looking good so far. So what's going on, guys? This is the first episode that we're doing for the 2019 season after a game. And what a game it was last night. Heartbreaker of a game. Um, Lots of positives, lots of negatives. But yeah, we're going to get into it. We're just letting some people get in here. We're at 6 right now.
Rack's bum ass.
Ray looked like Zangief from Street Fighter. That's from Trill. Nick Martin extension. Yeah, we'll get into that too.
Yeah, God.
I remember texting Ray that this morning. I almost pissed my pants. Nick Martin extension. Yep.
Yeah,
That happened.
I'm gonna throw something out there about that.
I think that makes him the 5th ranked, the 5th highest paid center in football right now.
Yeah, he's in the top 10.
I thought it was top 5, but
It could be.
so yeah, let's get into it. So yesterday, the Texans Saints Monday Night Football. If you watched our pre-game show, Ray and I, we didn't expect much at all. Our predictions were pretty favorable towards the Saints, but I'll eat that crow all day.
Me too.
I loved it. I loved what I saw. And like I preferenced last time, we didn't know what we had with Tunsil and all these new weapons, so we didn't put too much weight into the predictions. But now we can kind of get a pretty good feel for what the team is and what we have. But I liked what I saw. Stills made an impact right off the bat. Tunsil looked a hell of a lot better than any left tackle we've seen since Brown, even though he had his mess ups. But a lot of those seem to be communication errors when you look back at it. There were some questionable play calling, obviously, with Bill O'Brien, but I got to give him credit. He called a much better game than he usually does. He seemed to use his guys to their strengths in that game for the most part, even though there were some play calls where I was scratching my head a bit. Ray mentioned the draw play on, what was it? Second and
11.
Second and 11 with the draw play. And then I remember a wide receiver screen on 2nd and 16. And I was just scratching my head like, what is this guy doing? Pass the ball down. Carlos Hyde looked great. He runs like a bat out of hell, and he runs angry. So, yeah, that wide receiver screen on 2nd and long. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, so, I mean, lots of good things initially from this offense against a pretty solid defense in New Orleans. And the Texans really showed up, especially playing in that environment, man. It was a really good thing to see. But of course, the defense stunk it up, and of course, you're going against New Orleans, you're going against Drew Brees. I guess they played about as good as you could up until that last drive, but the play calling defensively was terrible, and that prevent defense at the end of the game. I mean, that was just a terrible call. You can't defend that. I mean, that was a horrendous call.
Rex, his staple is going prevent when he's got a lead.
Yeah.
And that's how we get back in games.
But those are pretty much just my initial thoughts just off the top. What about you, Ray?
More the same. I hate giving Butt Chin credit, man. But he called, for the most part, a decent game. He really utilized our new weapons quite effectively.
Yeah.
I was not expecting him to do that at all. But in true Bill O'Brien fashion, what I will give him is that he got a lead and he went conservative. Yet again. It happens every damn time. every single damn time. And the same thing that Rack does. He's got a lead. He goes zone prevent for the most part, and you see the results. Despite one or two times Tunsil getting kind of beat, honestly, he made a lot of those plays go. If you actually go back and watch it, I thought he had a great showing. I thought Zach Fulton had a great showing. Nick Martin was okay, but not enough. I don't think he was deserving of the extension he got. We'll get to that later. Calamente is trash can, dude. That guy is Suafila 2.0. He just sucks, period. I don't know why Sharpering wasn't in or why they didn't move Zach Fulton to left guard or Sharpering for that matter. I don't know, but oh my God, he was horrible. You guys know I'm an O-line guy, so I watched the O-line the whole time. That was one of my biggest things to watch. And Henderson, woo, Henderson, you're 2 seconds from Roderick stepping in and just taking your job outright. It's just that simple. As far as the secondary goes, can someone please explain to me why Aaron Colvin is on this team? Let me rephrase this. Can someone please tell me why Aaron Colvin's getting snaps and Lonnie is not getting any snaps?
Yeah.
The guy cost you 2 touchdowns, so I guess she's in a very crucial moment. You let old ass. I know Ginn's fast, but Ginn is old. Ginn is an old fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have no reason at all for letting him behind you, man. So, I there's a lot of the blame I have to put on Rack, and the pass rush was damn near non-existent. It's obvious Clowney was sorely missed, whether you liked him or not. He was missed in that game. Let's be real. JJ did not show up. He was singled most of the night, not doubled. So don't give me that shit that he was doubled the whole time. I mean, Ryan Ramczyk put it on his ass, dude. Put it on him. And JJ, either he's got his head so far up his ass with this whole wedding shit that he's got going on, and you remember, John, I called it. I said as soon as he gets serious and locks down, he's gonna go away. Well, look what happened, bro. Yeah. I'm telling you, you got to get rid of that split toe. He's got his head all out of whack, you know. So JJ's just looking old and crusty, and just the defense looking like shit, man. We should have had that game. Watson came out and did what he does best, just performs. Hopkins looked a little rusty. 3 drops in a game. When's the last time you ever heard that shit?
Exactly.
One of them was questionable, but I mean, still. But then he made a hell of a play toward the end of the game. Kenny Stills, look, dude, I'm very excited to see if when Kiki gets back, what this receiving core will be insane.
Yep.
Insane.
Imagine a spread with them.
I'm telling you, man, it'll be interesting. So, a lot of good things to go off of, man. Like I said, I was not expecting that kind of offensive production, especially based on what we saw in preseason, especially how we know how OB kind of calls games. But we knew the defensive secondary was going to be a problem. We knew the pass rush was going to be a problem when we let Clowney go, and damn, it shows, bro. What was the biggest concerns going into this year? O-line. And secondary. Then it turned into pass rush when Clowney left, and look what killed us last night.
Yeah.
No pass rush. You gave up 6 sacks, dude. Saints aren't a bad defense, but they're not a great defense either. Let's get that straight right off the rip. If Watson continues getting hit or getting 6 sacks a game, he'll have 96 sacks by the end of the season. Put that in your head. That'll be second most all time. Above Carr, Houston. Again, put that shit in your brain. So we'll see what happens from here, man. We'll move on, and we'll move on to the next. And hopefully we'll see more of the same from the offense. And God, the defense has just got to get better. I'm actually kind of wondering why Phillip Gaines was worked out by the Texans today. That's an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up when you mentioned Hopkins was that unnecessary roughness tackle. I thought that was BS. I didn't think that was a flag. He's
that was one of the best hits of the game.
He was a receiver, for Christ's sake. I mean, like, come on. Are you kidding me? I like what he said. Next time I'll two-hand touch or something like that. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I thought that penalty was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, I literally almost threw up when he scored that touchdown and he looked like he was hurt. I was pissed. I was scared. If he would have been injured, I would have just left because I was watching the game at my dad's house, and I was like, you know what? If he's injured, there's no point in watching this game. Season's over. So I was just ready to just leave. But yeah, I was scared. I'm glad that he seems okay for now. We'll see. If he was just playing through something after that, whatnot. But hell,
rumor is he's got a bruised butt. That's the rumor. Seriously, is that he has a bruised butt. They signed that guy from the practice squad from Seattle, Mago,
mm-hmm.
that quarterback in Seattle. Yeah. So I don't know, man. He got a bruised butt.
Yeah. So yeah, that was scary. But other than that, man, he looked great. One bad pass decision throwing into double coverage with Fuller to get picked off. But we can't be what's the word I'm looking for? We used to complain that past quarterbacks didn't take enough shots. Now we got a guy who is willing to take some risks. So I'm fine with that every now and then. Obviously, you can't have a perfect season and throw no picks, but I'm glad we have.
I was really impressed how he stood in the pocket more. He seemed more relaxed, more patient.
Yes.
Like he didn't seem scatterbrained. That's kind of a bad word, but I mean, like, you didn't seem.
You think Tunsil was a bit of a mental crutch for him?
Oh yeah, actually, absolutely. As a matter of fact, that very important sack he gave up, the guy just got a killer jump. And by the way, for the record, for you offensive,
I thought it was offsides at first.
He was legit. He got a killer jump, but you want to know how he got a killer jump? Nick Martin is telegraphing his fucking snaps, dude. Telegraphing his snaps, snapping it on the same time. If you guys remember, Chris Myers used to do this little rock thing. He would look left, he'd look right, then sometimes he'd pause and then hike it, or then sometimes he would just hike it straight out. Or sometimes he'd just rock in the hike. Dude, Nick Martin would look down, Fulton would touch his ass and snap. Yeah. Snap is off. So as soon as they saw his hand go to Martin's ass, he was off and running, and he wouldn't off sides. Like, that's little shit you fans don't really realize when you're watching that I would look at. Because as a defensive guy, I'm looking for any tell from the snap of the ball what's going on. And Nick Martin is telegraphing his snaps bigger than shit. I mean, think about it. Hendrickson, right? Who the fuck is that guy? Anyone know who that guy was before he made that tackle last night or that sack? No, I've never fucking heard of him. Like, seriously, I mean, he got a good jump off the ball because Nick Martin is telegraphing his snaps. It's that simple, man.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, man, I mean, I was very pleased with the way Watson looked the entire game. Even you're never out of a game with him as your quarterback. I mean, even with 50 seconds left going onto the field, no timeouts, 2 plays, nothing but poise, nothing but confident the entire way against a New Orleans team who very well could have won the Super Bowl last season had they not been cheated out of it. And in that stadium, I mean, that was the ultimate test, and that has to be a huge confidence booster for him moving forward, knowing he can do that. Right. And like you said, pocket presence. He stayed there a little longer. He kept his eyes downfield more than he usually does. He was a little bit less reluctant to just scramble and go, even though we still saw a little bit of that in the game as well. But that's why you drafted him. Yeah, Third Coast says dude is special, 100%. I mean, yeah, we've all known that since day one, and he really he shined yesterday. For sure. And it just goes to show you when you put the pieces around him and you have even, somewhat competent play calling, definitely he's going to shine. He's going to shine every time. And the ceiling, he has no ceiling. The guy is a phenomenal quarterback. And it amazes me to this day that Patrick Mahomes, well, not not to disrespect Patrick Mahomes, I just think he got really lucky with where he landed and his coach and the pieces he's surrounded by. But it amazes me that Mahomes, Trubisky, and I think there was one more. Was there another quarterback taken ahead of him? Or were those only two?
No, I think those were the only two.
I think the Browns were passed on him with Jack, but yeah, it amazed me that he dropped as far as he did to us. But hell, I'm not complaining. So Watson, he looked phenomenal.
It's funny because I was talking on the Soft Sports stream, and we were all kind of going back and forth, and we said this last night on this. Like I said, it's like now we're about to see how clutch Watson really is, and man, two plays later, fucking end zone. You know what I mean? Like it's almost, it's so bad because you're like, okay, great, we scored, but damn, you left Drew Brees like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll share you the screenshot later because I knew exactly what was going to happen. With 30 seconds left, Drew Brees, I sent to my group chat with some of my friends. Look, I'll even read you the exact quote because I called it to a T right before they even took the field. I knew exactly what was going to happen right before it all happened. Let's see. I said, okay. My friend texted, whoa, holy shit, as soon as Watson did that in 2 plays. And I said, defense about to give up a big play to Breeze. Saints win by field goal. Mark my words. Watch. I know my team. Sure enough.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's unfortunate you can call it shit like that.
Sure enough, what happened? That was minutes before it happened. I was excited when the touchdown happened. Don't get me wrong. Me and my dad were going nuts. But as soon as I sat down and I looked at the clock and I realized who the hell we're playing against, I was like...
And they had a timeout.
And they had a timeout. You give a veteran quarterback, future Hall of Famer like Drew Brees, one timeout in his own stadium with seconds to work against that defense, I knew it was going to happen. And Lutz is a hell of a kicker, so I knew exactly what was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, hey, I would have been mad if we lost had we not scored on that last drive that they had. I would have been a lot more upset. But the fact that we were able to do that, the loss doesn't hurt as much. It still hurts because of where it was, the platform on Monday Night Football, first game of the night against the Saints, shootout. It was the most exciting game of the week, let's be honest. Every other game was pretty much a blowout one way or the other. But, it hurts. But even Colin Cowherd today, for, anyone who watches his show, he even ranked the Texans ahead of the Saints. He said, I don't care. They're still the better football team. He ranked him 10 in his power rankings ahead of New Orleans. He said, I don't care. Overall, I still think they're the better football team. I agree. If that game would have been in Houston, I think Houston wins. So, those are just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I feel it's amazing to me, someone who's like a 20-plus year vet in the league, meaning a coach, who's had plenty of talent around him, coached many teams, many different scenarios, did not know what to call in that scenario. I just...
Yeah.
To me, the game was exciting until that freaking point because it was... And they weren't even... It wasn't even prevent, like, bump man coverage. It was prevent coverage with 5 to 10 yard splits. And I'm like, bro, they only got to get 10 damn yards.
And did you see Breeze, his eyes light up as soon as he saw that?
Yeah,
he checked it out the line immediately.
I was like, God, you got to be kidding me, dude. Oh, man. Hey, it's a loss, man. Move on to the next. A lot of good, some bad, a lot more good than bad.
100%.
I will say that.
100%.
Which is quite a relief. And like you said, I'll eat some crow on that. Thank God, man. Just show me some life. And that was very refreshing because they didn't botch a primetime game away from home and get blown out like they could have been.
Tinny brings up a good point. He said when Booger said it was a bad idea, you knew Breeze knew it.
Yeah, you immediately have someone step over the line of scrimmage or something just to stop the play. You didn't have no timeout, so you couldn't have that. So I don't know, man.
No,
Damn.
the offense wasn't the problem at all. We're not saying that. No, no, no. The offense was about as good as you can be out there. Like I said, a few questionable calls, but that's the best game I've seen Bill O'Brien call since the Philadelphia game last year. I mean,
Right. To me, the offense looked great except for two players. Those two players, Henderson, Clemente. Period. Other than that, everyone else looked pretty solid. If you think about it, I mean, dude, the way Duke was running, the way Hyde was running, Kenny Stills making plays, Fuller making plays, Hot making plays, Watson doing his damn thing because he's just like that. I mean, bro, what else could you expect? And this is coming from guys that do nothing but criticize this damn team. Bill had a couple questionable calls, but for the most part, called a good game. It was refreshing, man. It was like, oh, what the hell? Okay. Oh, okay. It was just nice to see that no matter the yard situation, there's a great possibility that we could, at least get those yards or come close to getting those yards. It just, before where there's like no damn hope whatsoever. I mean, now there's, at least a 50-50 shot, it feels like. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff to take away from this game. But with the good comes the bad, unfortunately, the bad is what cost us the game. Suspect corner play for some reason. Eller and Colvin's still on this team after yesterday. I understand having a bad game, but he's had a bad career at Houston. Let's just be honest. And God, I hope Edmund is in the chat because I so want that fucking shit. Anyways, but I mean, JJ kind of didn't show up. I mean, he was pretty much non-existent. Wasn't doubled a lot, singled a lot.
First game in his career where he was held off the stat sheet completely,
and was singled up.
Yep.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
But on to the next, man. How about that Martin signing, bro?
Oh God. I mean, what did we talk about in the last episode? The trade we were so happy for with Tunsil, but the one thing they didn't do was sign him to an extension. When I saw the thing come across my phone, I was sure the name I was going to read next was going to be, it was going to be Tunsil. And I see Martin, and I'm legitimately confused. Legitimately confused. I don't understand that whatsoever.
So you have to be white. You have to be a coach. You have to practice good. Shit your pants mid-game, and you'll get an extension.
Yeah.
And suck last year. It's almost like watching Derek Newton over again.
I know, and that's what I said about Henderson yesterday. I said, Henderson, you're the next Derek Newton. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Because that was terrible. There was a particular blitz. He looked absolutely confused and did not touch anyone. Nobody.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So I have to side note on this. Everyone talks about extending Tunsil. Look, I understand that. Franchise left tackle, you want to do right by him. Obviously, he did a lot more good than bad last night. Get it. Totally understand it. Guys, he's got 3 years left on his contract. He's got 2 years of his rookie contract with a fifth-year option because he's a first-round pick. Extension, why? Why? You have other needs that need to be addressed. And I'm just talking about this season.
Yeah.
If you want to extend him next year when he's got 2 years left or a year and an option, I get that. But as of right now, extending him, maybe not a smart choice. So I'm not too upset about that. But if they go through next season without extending him, I'm gonna be I'll be on Fannin. I'll be on Fannin headed that way, and I'll go up and screaming my lungs off because you saw last night a different line. Even though it's not the right line, but you saw a different line. You saw a different left tackle last night, and it was beautiful to watch. Yeah, you know what? He's only been there you got to think. For a guy who's only been there for 5 days, boy, he sure looked really fucking good in this offense, bro. So I like a lot of what I saw from him, man. I really did. And Clemente just needs to be gone. You just cut him. Just trim the fat. Trim the dead weight. Him, Colvin, just trim them off. Yeah, apparently you worked out Phillip Gaines today from Cleveland, cornerback. Maybe that's a good sign. Or if you really want to get crazy, what I would do personally is, Phil, since you've already traded away most of our picks to Miami anyways, and Howard doesn't want to be there
Yep.
anymore, I don't know,
I was gonna
package
bring that
Coleman and
up.
some picks for Howard.
I was gonna
Why
bring that
not?
up. Yep, because there was a report after that blowout loss to the Ravens that several Dolphins players had their agents contact the franchise and say, "Trade me," because if you're gonna tank, I want no part of this. Um,
Yep.
so hey, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Houston to do something like that, especially the week we're heading into week 2. They already
Yep.
have a trading relationship with Miami this season. I don't
Yep.
think they'd be opposed to doing business together again. Um, so
Yep.
I think that's a possibility. And you know what? If Bill O'Brien can pull something like that off, I don't care if he fucks up royally the rest of the season. Not gonna say another bad thing about him because at least he's trying. I mean,
So,
this has been and I think we said this off air. He's a
uh,
better GM than he is a coach, in my
at this
opinion.
point, yeah.
Way
At this
better
point, yeah.
GM than he is a
And
coach.
that's what I warned everyone. I was like, man, if these trades work out and if they look good, oh my God, he's just gonna be. The problem with Bill is the Clowney thing. Bill O'Brien will forever be entangled with the Clowney issue, always in Houston. So if he does any kind of good and brings in a certain amount of people, you know, and they work out really well, they'll say, yeah, he's really great, but man, that Clowney thing was just really stupid. You
Yeah.
know, I was telling John this off air. I remember where I'm from. I remember the Mario Williams debacle. Do you guys remember that? I sure as fuck do. We not only did we not for him, he went to a whole different area and actually had a pretty successful career in
Yeah.
Buffalo. Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? Now, even though we got jack shit for Clowney, I get that. But at least we fucking got something for him. Again, I remember where I came from. And one of my biggest concerns is we get absolutely nothing. We let Clowney walk. Well, guess what? We actually got something for him. So, truth be told, yeah, Clowney was missed last night. Again, you can't deny that. You can't argue that. But even me, with the Clowney hater, quote unquote, you can't deny that. You just can't. If Clowney was there last night, probably a different game, possibly. You never know. Hindsight's 2020. But you know, at least we got something for him. And even though I thought we could have got more, and a lot of people are livid pissed because you're giving Nick Martin extensions and you're not fucking paying Clowney, like, bro. Again, even a guy who's a Clowney hater, quote unquote, he's still arguably one of the best run stuffers in the league. He's getting better every year with his pass rush. He stayed healthy for 2 years. He gave you 2 years of solid production, and arguably the best defender on your defense for fucking 2 years, and you just let him go. So, I mean, it is what it is. We move on from here. Can't cry over spilt milk, and hopefully, we won't, miss him too much. But God, the way that pass rush looked last night, it was pretty rough, man.
Can
Pretty damn.
can someone in the chat look up how many years are left on Jalen Ramsey's contract? Because I know for a fact
One. You don't have to look it up. It's one.
it's one. So I know for a fact Hopkins and him talk,
Mm-hmm.
and I know he would heavily consider coming here.
Yeah.
And I don't see a trade happening because I don't think Jacksonville would trade interdivision. I don't think there's any way in hell they'd do that.
Fucking Bill would.
So we'd have to wait for his contract to expire. But I legitimately think that after this season he's free.
Yep.
I legitimately think that would be a possibility.
Do you think that's why they didn't sign Clowney? Is that maybe they were okay? I'm giving way too much credit. Maybe they were looking ahead to the point to where like, fuck it, we can get one of the best corners in the league and solidify that spot up, on the back end. I don't know.
I don't want to give them that much credit to be honest with you.
Know.
But if so, hey, thankfully someone's using their head. But yeah, they bring up a good point in the chat. Franchise tag. I mean, he'll sit out obviously for a while, and it may take another year. But it's a complicated situation with the franchise tag and everything like that. You never know what would happen. So I I think he might end up walking. I don't think he wants to be there. I don't think he wants to win, and there's no winning future there for a while. I mean, their window opened up and closed real quick. And I legitimately think he sees a lot of potential. A lot of players see a lot of potential with this team, especially with Deshaun at quarterback. So, uh,
People want to play with Hop. People want to play
yeah,
with Deshaun, even if they're on the other side of the ball. They just want to be around him. Like they just have an aura that attracts people, man.
yeah.
It's just that, unfortunately, they got to deal with the head office, and that kind of turns people. I don't know, man. Like we said, I strongly agree with you, man. I think Bill O'Brien's probably a better GM than he is a coach. But then therein lies the problem. Even if you did keep him as GM and he hired a coach, he's gonna hire coaches of his yoke. So it's gonna be like, he's gonna hire a yes man, basically. If it ever went that route. But I don't know, man.
Tinny wants me to ask you what percentage is Rack's wins, curious minds and all.
Video is coming soon. You're gonna have to wait. I'm not giving you that info just yet. So I'm doing a in-depth research on the differences in win percentage as a defensive coordinator in the National Football League between Romeo Crennel, Dick LeBeau, and Wade Phillips. And I mean, you're gonna have to go back because even at times when they were head coaches, they still were the defensive coordinator as well. Some years they were, some years they weren't. But you have to go back and research all that. So I will be doing a video, and I'll give all the parameters of what counts and what doesn't and all that other stuff. And again, it's going to be as objective as I can possibly be with a little bit of opinionated stuff inside. So, and the reason this came up is because last night that botched call at the end of the game. I'm kind of wondering, has Romeo been well, without a doubt, I'm sure he's a great defensive coordinator, but has he been a beneficiary of great offensive-minded teams and or offensive teams? I don't know. Patriots, anybody? Ring a fucking bell? Like, you could play soft prevent defense, give up 3 points, maybe give up 6, because your offense is going to go right back on the field and fucking score points. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. We'll find out. It's gonna be a pretty good video. I'm going to do all the research I can before I do it, though.
Quick one to the mods. Unless things are racial or just flat out disrespectful, don't delete people's messages. I like to see what everyone has to say. I don't care if people curse. I don't care if you guys talk shit to each other, but only if it's absolutely necessary do you block someone what they say. And of course if they're spamming. So heading into Jacksonville, they have a backup QB now, starting for them because Foles went down.
Well, that lasted a long time.
Yeah. And you know what? Their quarterback didn't look terrible. And the first thing I thought as soon as I saw that was, wow, the Texans are going to get absolutely torched by him. I can see it because historically they're terrible against backup quarterbacks. They are.
Wow, that's a scary thought and true as hell too. God,
yeah,
wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so I'm expecting. I don't want to say a shootout, but I am kind of expecting a bit of a shootout. I mean, I think the defense is just going to get torn apart next week. They've given me no reason to think otherwise, so we'll see how that goes. Offensively, I'm a lot more optimistic. Especially, isn't it a home game as well, or is it in Jacksonville?
I think it's a home game, actually.
Yeah, if it's a home game, especially, I'm predicting the Texans to win it, but and we're gonna see offense similar to what we saw in New Orleans. But yeah, that was one thing that scared me when as soon as I saw that backup come in and actually play well against Kansas City was Houston.
Dude, he was like 13 of 13 at one point, wasn't he? He was like on fire, dude.
Yeah, and he has a killer mustache too.
The mustache, bro.
Yeah, so
like the dreads.
I think he's gonna have a good game. So we'll see.
So A question for you: would you be pissed off if Bill O'Brien went back to the same run bullshit that he did last
100%.
year?
100%.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
Yeah.
Oh, it would just be so
And I
infuriating.
have a feeling he might, but I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to call because you never know what you're going to get from him coaching wise.
Yeah, well, yeah, you threw me for a loop last night. That's for sure. I wasn't expecting that shit.
Yeah, Trill, I was talking to you. Sorry. I guess I'll be more specific next time. um but yeah, the Jacksonville game, it's tough because, like I said, you never know what you're gonna get from Bill. What kind of play calling he's gonna do, conservative or try and mix it up like he did yesterday, or the defense. I'm not expecting anything from them. My expectations for them are so low, especially against the backup QB. Um, I think it's time for Rack to go, man. I mean, I was listening to the radio after the game yesterday, and all you had was fans calling for Rack's head. Like that's it. It's up. Like, come on, it's time for a new chapter. But a lot of people said they don't think Bill has the balls to fire him.
He doesn't.
He doesn't want to get rid of his guy, and
Yeah.
that's just piss poor. That's a piss poor way of managing things. So.
No.
We'll see how things play out. He's so stuck in that New England mentality. But
Yeah.
I mean, that hasn't done anything. I mean, you've been here how many years? You've done nothing but stay bare minimum. Division title, division title, division title. It gets old after a minute. It stops losing its meaning after a minute, especially when the division's not really that competitive in the past few years. Luck has been injured half his career. Now he's gone. Jacksonville trades out quarterbacks like they're nothing. They're up and they're down with their defense. Tennessee's consistently 500. I mean, if you were winning a division like a competitive division, that's a different story. But it's the AFC South. People mock the AFC South because it's the least competitive division in football.
All right. It's like comparing like the ACC. Well, no, I won't say that. It's like comparing like the Mountain Sky Conference to the SEC. That's how I kind of look at it. It's like you got all these other conferences with all these great teams that consistently, are perennial playoff contenders, and then you have our division. And then when we go to play someone that's worth a shit, like the Saints or something like that, we usually botch it. We usually get destroyed. But yet again, Bill O'Brien against winning teams, especially in prime time, has a very horrendous coaching record.
Yeah,
it's abysmal. So, hey, but you know what? But like I said, man, we're actually a lot more, I guess, relaxed that the offense has shown something like we thought we would see.
Yeah.
Right. What makes our butthole pucker is when the defense takes the field.
Yeah.
It's kind of that simple. By the way, can I ask you a question? Okay, is there a particular does Bill O'Brien not like our punter? Because I keep seeing him bring in punters for coming on a team, and Angerer coming in preseason for, like, is there a reason why he doesn't like that guy? I'm confused.
I don't know. I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it.
Yeah, because Daniels is a pretty decent punter. I'm trying to understand what the hell is going on with that. So, yeah, I guess it's just me speaking, just off the cuff. It's just like,
Yeah, but in regards to special teams, I did see that some Saints fans were mad about the roughing the kicker penalty on Fairbairn. Now, I didn't get to see a replay of it, so I'll ask for your take if you think that was BS or not.
When the kicker kicks it and 2 feet land on the ground after he kicks it, that is a complete kick, so you can run to the kicker and not get penalized. The guy's foot was not down yet. The guy hit his damn leg. The guy went down. Now, in all fairness, Fairbairn fucking botched that kick.
Yeah.
If you watch the replay, he kicked the ground behind the ball like an inch or two before he got to the ball.
Yeah.
He botched that fucking kick. Luckily, someone came and hit him afterward. So, on one hand, he would have missed the shit anyways. On the other hand, you can't run in the kicker. I mean, that's been like that for fucking decades, dude. Like, that's one of the few rules that hasn't really been shifted, honestly, throughout the history of the NFL. So, and again, I don't understand how the Cincinnati fans are bitching they fucking won, dude. Like, I don't understand. Shut the fuck up, who dat, and just go back to business. Like, I fucking can't stand Saint fans, dude.
Yeah.
They're like Cowboy fans. They're just fucking annoying.
The Cowboys. Yeah, that they've had a whole mess of things going on.
Good. Let them continue to fuck with that all.
Yeah, but just looking forward, I don't know I never know what to expect from this team, to be honest with you. I mean, and it's not even from this team. It's purely coaching at this point. I mean, you saw yesterday what they're capable of.
Right. Right. And let me interrupt you real quick. Now, for anyone who thinks that it's not the coaching, it's the players, last night is a perfect example that it is the coaching and not the fucking players. You can't go into New Orleans with any old scrubs and come out with a hard fought, well, it was lost, but almost a victory on the road with a team that is considered a Super Bowl contender, and that was damn near in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, you just don't do that. That was all coaching, straight up and down. Not so much Bill. I'll ease off Bill's nuts this time, but for the most part, Romeo Cornell, that loss, I put that squarely on you because you made a decision to keep Colvin in. You made a decision to call that bullshit call at the end of the game. You made a decision not to play your rookie corner that has shown more promise than Aaron Colvin has in a year and a half of fucking playing here. So I blame that strictly on you.
Yeah. So my defensive expectations for these guys are super low, and I really hope Bill O'Brien stays consistent with the play calling offensively next week. I have a strong feeling that he's not, and that we're going to see a lot more running because he tends to, for some reason in the AFC, he likes to run it. But when he plays NFC teams, that's the only time I really see him trying to mix it up.
Good take. That's exactly right.
So, yeah, I just wish he'd stay consistent. But
especially when he has success against running on NFC teams like he had last night. Like, you got to keep in mind, like, the yards per carry average for both Duke and Hyde were pretty high.
Yeah.
All things considering. I mean, if you really think about it. But I guarantee that success, they're going to try to translate that shit into next week, and they're just, man.
Yeah.
Stand by, man. That's just all I can say. We'll see what happens. I'm more, like I said, I'm more optimistic now than I have been in damn near 2 years.
This is the most optimistic I've been as a fan in a long time.
Right.
In a long
I was since the
time.
Philly game last year when they showed what they could really. Again, we shouldn't have lost that game. That Clowney hit was the best form tackle I've seen on a quarterback in quite some time. He got flagged for that. Was bullshit. We shouldn't have lost that game. But they looked that good. They did. They sure as fuck didn't look like Indianapolis in the playoffs kind of shit.
Yeah.
So
Trill brings up a really good point. The last night even emphasized my question as to why they allowed Honey Badger and Kareem Jackson to walk. And you also let Clowney walk. You also decide to, earlier in that season, extend Joseph and keep him around. Go out and get Gibson. I mean, the defense downgraded, way downgraded from last season. If you have last season's defense with the offense we have now, it's trouble. It's trouble, and I don't think the Saints score more than, 17 yesterday. And that's bold, but I truly think they don't score more than 17 points yesterday.
Someone needs to go find Andre Howell and ask his ass to unretire.
Exactly. Kareem should have stayed over Joseph. Yeah. The offense is great. We'll plow through the Jags, but against teams like Kansas City, New England, etc., expect the same ending as yesterday. That's one thing that I was thinking about. Deshaun is still at the point in his career, and it's not all on Deshaun, but he's still at the point in his career where he can match guys like Brady, Wilson, who obviously isn't on the same tier. I'm just saying that Seattle game was big. Brady, Wilson, Breeze. You put him up against quarterbacks like that, he can match them step for step. Yeah. He can match them numbers wise, but he's just not there yet to the point where he can actually beat them. It's just he's right there, but the supporting cast in regards to coaching just and we said before we expected a losing season from these guys. If the play calling can stay somewhat not even consistent, somewhat consistent, if you can just pass it a little more than you usually do, then I agree with Carlos Santana in the chat. I could see a 9-7 season for these guys.
No, sorry. No, because they just their schedule is against them, dude. It's not good.
Yeah.
Even if they show up like they did last night.
What?
No, I can't ride that train, bro. I'm sorry.
My dad's in the chat and says 2-14.
I'm just, but that's not unlikely either. But I think they're better than a 2-14 team, but I don't think they're a 500 team because their defense is so suspect. It's, there's very few times where you have a above average to great offense or defense, and the other side of the ball is just shit stain. It usually doesn't work out real well for the team, and I can't go over 500 with this team. I just can't, and I'll gladly eat my crow if we do. Gladly, no problems.
Trill says 4-12, and I'm sticking to it. D4 is gonna kill himself trying to win for a franchise ran by a terrible owner, coach, coaching staff, and GM. Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, I actually last night got me from 4-12 to 5-11.
Yeah,
that's about it. Not all I got. So
we still need to worry about the Colts. To Jacoby Brissett looked surprisingly good. He did. Jacoby Brissett looked very good against the Chargers.
Jacoby Brissett is undefeated against the Houston Texans. So let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We're pushing on an hour, so I'll just ask the chat anything they want to talk about before we head out. I would talk about the Astros, but I mean we could probably save that because we're heading on October pretty soon, so they're crushing it, plain and simple. I mean, I think they had like 20-point games in the span of a month, 2 20-point games in the span of a month. Brissett can play, man, but has Jacoby ever faced Deshaun Watson? He's no scrub.
Well, I don't know. I actually don't know if he has or not.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
That's a great question. I'm not quite sure.
Did we ever get that barbecue question answered on the last one from anyone, or was it?
Hell no, everyone backed out on it.
Best barbecue in Houston. I'm not talking about Antonio Brown.
No. Yeah, he's not worth my time. I'm not talking about him either.
Best barbecue in Houston. Let's see the recommendations in the chat. Will Watson be the next Luck? I hope not.
God, I hope not. I think Watts might be J.J. Watt might be the next Luck.
Yeah, I could see that, especially after. We'll see about that 9-7 mark. My words. I hope so.
Right.
I hope you're right. No, he faced Assweiler and Tom Savage. Oh, we're talking about Brissett.
He's faced Houston more than twice. Didn't he?
I honestly don't remember.
He faced him in New England when Brady went down. I remember because everyone said, "Oh yeah, we're going to beat him now." Well, no, because Brissett came in and beat us as a third-string quarterback. And then he beat us twice with I think he's beat us like 3 or 4 times. I'm almost positive of that, actually.
Let's see. Danny retracted one of his messages. Let me see. I can't pull it back up, damn it. I heard Burns Barbecue is really good. Black people cooking, so you know.
Here we go. We're gonna start with that shit. That's
Burns
got to be true.
barbecue. I'll have to look at that. He beat us.
I'd
Oh,
say
and
Floyd's barbecue is probably the best in my opinion.
Floyd's. He beat us 0-30. Brissett beat us 0-30 when he was in New England. Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
I remember
Told
that.
you.
Well, Osweiler was good. Well, Osweiler was as good as a third string QB.
A lot of truth in that too.
Where's he now? Is he even in the league?
I think he's with Denver. I think he's with Denver still.
Denver?
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Well, Osweiler was as good as a third string QB. All right. Anything else y'all want to talk about in the chat? Let us know before we sign off. Don't say Osweiler name 3 times or he will come back. I hope not. No, Osweiler is a free agent. Is he really? Don't say Osweiler. I hope they don't sign him as a backup. That'd be terrible. All right. Well, Ray, was there anything you wanted to plug or talk about before we headed off?
No, man, I already plugged my little Romeo Cornell thing I'm going to do. So that's all I got, guys. Just, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching us as per usual. Just keep them coming. Leave comment below. Like, sub, all that good stuff. And stay tuned.
Oh, before we go, what's your score prediction for Jacksonville, just in case we don't get back in beforehand? I'm going to say, I'll say, I really don't want to give them more than 20 points. That's how, I'm going to say 17-7 Houston.
I say 24-17 Houston.
Okay. Talk about how we will do versus Dad says 21-3 Jacksonville.
Jeez.
D-Love. Talk about how we will do versus Dobbs.
Nah. Yeah, no. Let's save that.
Save that? All right.
Save that.
All right, guys. That's going to be it for us today. We'll try and do another one before the next game. And if not, you have our predictions. But we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.